Okay, let's see if there's an easy way to edit a space. We have these listing templates. They don't really do anything except that we can choose one of them when we're creating a space. And the idea is that eventually this will hold some kind of configuration. It might be this data blob, or maybe it might be other records in the database. But I think that the experience should be you come to spaces to at least create a new space, and then you can enter the space, and there's two modes here. So either you're in this 2D mode like we're seeing now, or there's a little button here and it brings this up to your face and you're in immersive mode. And in either case, there should be tools for adding, let's say I want to add another box in here. There should, I'm envisioning, if you're in 3D, just pop back into 2D for now. So in 2D, we'll have a menu maybe on the right somewhere that shows you a list of all the things you have in the space, and then some menus that you can click, and there'll be a drop down that you can choose to bring in some things like maybe a new picture, and you'll be able to parameterize it with the URL of the JPEG or GIF. So how do we get this other menu here? I think it might be easiest to create with Phoenix regular HTML pages instead of having to create an API. It's probably easier to just use Phoenix liveview that's in an iframe that we can sort of hide or move to the background most of the time, but then when we pop back into 2D and we click that menu button, we bring it to the foreground. So we can work on this independently. Let's take a look at the routes that we have. Let me close some of these. What's the change here? I don't think we have a change here. Don't save. So let's take a look at the routes. In our routes, we have the management of the spaces, which is to see a list of spaces, and you can edit some of the things. We may move this someplace else, but for now it's there because maybe all of the edit functions happen in here when you are viewing the page. So maybe we have something like a get edit and then the slug. But this is kind of a management thing, so maybe it goes under management. So we can go under M for management, and so maybe it is this space. So we can well, this is a modal right now, but if you remember, we had these two before, which is the space live show. Let's bring these back and see how they behave. There's no way to get to them now because they take the ID. So what we could do is we could make a link to it or change this to the slug. Yeah, let's this with the slug. Test one thing at a time, and we go to space live show. So space live shows here, and in the mount we were taking the ID. This will be slug now. Slug, and we'll do get space get space. Do we have a function for get a space by a slug? Let's look inside the experience controller. I thought I renamed this to space controller, didn't I? Yeah, this should be called space controller. Okay. Oh, you're right. We're not loading anything up in there. So let's look at the spaces. Create a space. Anything to do with a slug in here? No. Okay, let's get space by slug. Define get space by slug. Gives me the slug. Do repo get, and it will be space. Oh, get by maybe. Repo get by, and give it the space, and give it the slug, and the value of the slug, which is that. Does that work? Let's see. Repo get, sorry, spaces. Get space by slug. Undefined function, compile. Error in file. I see red over here. What is this? Compile. Okay. Following are given to keyword merge. Go get by. Get by. And what is this? Slug. ABC, like that. No result expected, at least when we've got none. Where slug is this? Okay. I guess we can just do get by. What is get by without a bang? Just gives you nil. Okay, get space by slug. And then show slug, and then get space by slug. Give it the slug. And select the entity. It's got a whole bunch of other stuff. Space is tree entity. Right. So to make all that other stuff work, we might need to do this. Go to cut this. Let me assign this to space. And let me put this as the space ID. So what happens? Okay, we have a space. Let's just call this slug ABC. So if we would go to spaces ABC, what's the router? And so there's no action edit space show path. Okay, so this show path has an issue here. Some of the links are probably not working anymore. So just Get rid of these. Okay. So we had a drop down from before. We could add these things, and it would add entities to a space. We've got this going. We kind of have this landing page for editing. So maybe we can modify this. It should be a live view. Should it be a live view? It's probably easier to start off with a live view. You can add things to it, remove and parameterize them. We'll just call this edit space. Give it the slug, space, space live, yeah, space live, edit. I think it probably deserves its own live component. Let's call it space edit live. Space edit live. And we'll have an index for that. So index.ex, just like we had here. And what goes here? We'll grab some boilerplate. So we have space edit live. It's a live view. We're gonna mount, assign. Nothing to assign yet. Just return the socket. Handle params. That's for like live view linking and things like that. Okay, nothing to do here yet. So we can comment this out. We can remove these. So, and then let's bring in a template. Okay, space edit live, get index, HTML, HEX. Let's just say, okay, let's just say edit space. Okay. There's that. There's this. And the router should go to space edit live. And this will just be index. So that will go to space edit live index. So here we go. So if we want to edit, we'll probably remove this button. Yeah, let's remove this. All right, we're gonna remove this later. We need to add an iframe to the other thing, but the path is what? Edit space and the slug. Okay, easy enough. So if we're here at ABC, then it will be edit space ABC. M. Edit space. Very good. Let's bring some information regarding this space. So in our edit space index, we can have it load the current space. So the params gives the slug. And we'll do spaces get space by the slug, give me the slug, here's the space, and assign to the space. Space is space. Sorry. Assign into the socket. That will make space available here. So edit space and then the name at space dot name. Okay. We can even put it in where the root XR root page title. So you can say that you can assign page title is space.name. Yeah. Say edit that name. Cool. Okay, we're editing, and let's get our drop down. What are the list of objects we can have? Well, we had something like this before, and I think that was just a hard-coded list. We can look at the show. Entities, expanded node. Where did it get its drop down? If we look over here, options for select XR spaces, entity kinds. Okay, we can add, just lift this right out of here, copy that, and paste that into our index. Not this one. This one. Add constructs. Add stuff. Okay, so this button submits this form. Add entity, Phoenix submit. Cool, I could see this being its own component later on. This is nice. We have this. Okay. And when we add it, click on add, we'll add an entity. What did the old one do? Handle event, create entity, and then we reloaded the tree. So I don't want to do a tree thing. I think it's complicated to have parent-child stuff here. I don't know, maybe. What does reload tree do? Reload tree, spaces, entity tree, nested. Yeah. I don't really think the backend needs to hold an entire tree. We really just want to facilitate adding things and removing things. And we'll leave that for a future enhancement because there can be a lot of bugs and issues with this. So what I want to do is I just want to add an entity. Okay, so if we go back to add entity, this just does, it creates an entity. So let's do this. Grab this, put that into our index under handle event. So we're going to get the entity kind, which looking at the front end, okay, it sends that. We'll get that. We create space ID, create the entity, and then we want to update the socket with the number of entities now. So we can do that. We can just say space get space by slug, which gives you a slug, and then you can do get all entities for a space. Sure. Yeah, let's just do this. Get all the entities. So all the entities go here. Entities equal spaces. Get all entities for a space. Give it the space ID. Entities. And then assign entities into entities. And then here we just reload this. So we redo this. Remember that we get socket assigned space ID entities, and then socket assign into the socket entities. What's up this implementation true, and in our index here let's have a list of entities. Maybe just call them items, assets, gizmos. Start with entities. Okay, so we got unnumbered list, and we'll do this for business. For entities do I entity dot type. Is it type or kind? Repo all entity. Spaces. So you got a type. It's a type and a name. Oh, we can go with name. Cool. Add another box, or add a box, add a cone, Very cool. All right, and then we want to add this as an iframe of spaces, which I think can be done like this. So in our template for the space, we're rendering this, and let's put an iframe source equal which will be this protocol, and then this must come from space slug, which we don't have. We don't have that, right? What's this space slug? Okay, this works, okay. Oh, I think we have to do it this way. We have to do it this way. Return that. Return interpolation for space slug. Now that should error because we don't have space, right? Which is fine, we have it up here. The slug anyway, so in the space controller, we're going to do spaces, alias, exr spaces, and the space should equal spaces get space by slug, params, please give me the slug, and we add this to the connection, assign con the key, which is the space, and the space. No? Do it this way? Reload. Protocol not implemented for this assigns so render takes three things. Oh, it takes and assigns examples. Blah blah blah. Oh, okay. That. Yes. And this still works. So if I want to add another box at the bottom, box, and another box, and then this side isn't responding to it yet, have something of a menu, and this would work in 2D XR. So I think this is a good place to take a break.